morning, everybody. I was asking it's morning or afternoon. It was supposed to be a morning event, but it happens to be almost teetering around the afternoon here. I'm not a retail guy. Actually, I'm a FMCG guy. So we guys are customers to the retail trade, and we are the well-wishers of the trade because we are your customers, and we have been your customers for time immemorial. So Dabur, is a 150 years old company, and I have a privilege of heading the organization, been with them for almost 25 years, gone up as a management trainee and been in and around India and overseas markets. So I'll welcome a lot of questions from you people. I think that should be more productive. Although I've got a very long session and this is a subject where one can actually speak for quite a few number of hours. And I've been speaking over the past 2 days. I was in Bombay for attending investor calls and analyst calls and happened to not pulled up, but pulled in by ET to attend this. So not too much of preparation, so I think I'll have a conversation with you guys. I'll basically talk about something which are very obvious, you all know it. It's not something which is new to our mind, but I think if you have any questions, I think I'll be very glad to pick up and provide some color in my mind, whatever that is. So I think without much ado, I'll just go on. So crafting the future of retail, the subject is very, very interesting. So I think I'll just put out two figures here. I think any wild guess of you guys what these numbers are. So what is the 2 trillion number? This is not GDP though. India is already 3.4. So we are looking at around 5. So this is not GDP number. What's this figure? I'm not carrying chocolates in Dabur. If anybody gives a good answer to a question, I give them chocolates. So I'm not carrying those chocolates today, but I'm sure ET has some gift for you guys. So what is this 2 trillion number? Okay, no jogging much of mine. So 2 trillion is what we project the retail industry to be by, I think, around 3-4 years' time. 25 million is a number where the employment will be given to people, to 25 million people in India by the retail industry and the retail trade. So which is a very big number. So why this number I've actually touted is because at the moment we are 690 and this will move to around 2 trillion and the increase in employment will happen by around 25 million people. That's a very big thing. So it's big contributor to the GDP, big contributor to the growth of India. But why is it going to happen? Any answers here? So this is not interactive, no? So I'm supposed to be quelling the questions at the end of my speech. I'm used to a very interactive session, but I think if you guys want a monologue, it will be a monologue then. But why this is happening? Why? Because India is changing at a very fast pace, and India is changing in demographics, India is changing in psychographics, India is changing in terms of usage behavior, in terms of purchase behavior, and everything. So nothing starts without a consumer. So I think consumer is changing, the buying patterns are changing, their demographics are changing. So I think this presentation of retail behavior or retail transformation is incomplete without me talking about consumer who's actually bringing or seeding the change in the world. Let me draw a little bit of parallel example, how consumers change the industry in the India, not retail, but other industry. Let's take an example of a telecom industry. Telecom industry, there used to be letters at a point in time when I was just born. I'm the millennials, the older generation, almost in the 50s. So therefore, I'm going to be talking about that generation here. So letters evolved to what in the country? Landline phones. Landline phones was 100% penetrated in the country. How much was the penetration of landline phones in the country? 10% broadly. And then what came in? Mobile phones. What was the penetration of mobile phones in the country now today? 700 million people are using. Smartphones, half of that almost. So that's why 1 billion, half of that is smartphones. So the technology is leapfrogging and it is not allowing one thing to mature to a level of 90% and the other thing comes in and then it takes over. Same thing has happened in the retail industry. What happened in retail in the country? Pop and mom stores got replaced by modern trade, self-service stores. Modern trade has matured in the industry, in the country. Any answers? Has it matured? What is the penetration of modern trade? Huh? Percentage of population, of the landscape. Please tell me, everybody understands. People don't understand this million, billion number. 10% modern trade. Will modern trade mature in the country? Every pop and mom store will get converted into a self-service and to a modern trade? Huh? Or why? Why will it survive? It will perish. Why? Why will it survive? That is what you are doing, crystal ball glazing. I can't do that, you can't do it either. E-commerce has taken over. What is the penetration level of e-commerce today in the country? 7 to 9%. I came to India around 5 years back. How much was e-commerce contribution at the time? Less than 1%, 5 years back, less than 1%. Dabur never used to sell a single farthing on e-commerce. Today, my business is around 10% e-commerce, very profitable business. Leapfrog, how much is China e-commerce? Or let's go closer home, how much is Indonesian e-commerce? Guesses? 50%. Unbelievable. Indonesia, traditional trade market, 50% e-commerce. In a span of a decade and a half, leapfrogging technologies. We are not going to follow the path of China. We are not going to follow the path of Indonesia. We are going to follow our own path. It is unbelievable. This is because the consumer is changing. Another example I want to give you, but time, ET is not permitting me time. And they told me there's an outsourced person whom they've got, and they are not responsible. They've outsourced their responsibility of timekeeping to somebody else. Another example, very interesting. Credit cards, payments. How much is UPI penetration today in the country? 60 to 70? No. 40% UPI. How much is credit cards today in the country? 6% credit card penetration and UPI penetration of around 30-40%. Unbelievable what Modi ji has done. I'm not here to advocate BJP here, so don't take me wrong, but it's amazing the way India has leapfrogged. Cash was how much in India? Cash transactions. 100%. Became credit card 6%, UPI came around 30%. How technologies are leapfrogging the world, and therefore the people who've got all these spaces outside, I think they're going to really go to the bank laughing. It's amazing the way technology is changing the landscape. So consumer behaviors are changing, consumers are adopting technologies, and it's becoming brilliant in the way India is transforming. This is changing India, and one of the major pivots why India is changing is because consumer is evolving at a very fast pace. Consumer is becoming more richer. Consumer is the youngest in the country. India has got two distinct identities to it, which is India and Bharat. Why Dabur talks about Bharat? Because we are very salient in Bharat. The highest FMCG contribution coming from rural is coming from our company, even more than Unilever today, is from Bharat. Tech is transforming the whole world, and so it's transforming India at a pace that we can't even imagine. Affluent India. First, per capita incomes in last 12 years have actually risen to double from $1,400 to $2,500 and to be projected to be going at to $4,000. So we are a poor nation. Very poor. Why we are calling ourselves a poor nation? $4,000 is not big. How much is America? How much is Saudi Arabia? Closer home. Any guesses? Huh? Around $20,000 odd. Imagine the difference between where we are and where countries like Saudi Arabia on back of fossil fuel is. We are way lesser. But we are again leapfrogging here. How? The higher and the upper middle, if you see, is 25% today, will become 50% by 2030. Look at the bottom of the pyramid. We always talked about bottom of the pyramid being very big. Pyramid shape is actually changed to a fist shape where we are becoming thinner at the bottom of the pyramid and we are becoming fatter in the belly today, but we are becoming fatter at the top pie. Because per capita incomes will grow, India will have higher disposable income, India is becoming richer. 50% of the population of this country will be earning something like around 3 lakh rupees plus income har mahine. Imagine 3 lakh rupees plus is a very big amount of money that we all will be earning per month. That is the kind of number I'm talking about here. So people will have money and more and better disposable incomes here. So 1 in every 4 households will be belonging to upper middle class and a higher income. And this leads to premiumization, the theme for the world to go. Personalization, the theme for the world to go. Premiumization, we all understand. Anything which is 20% above the average price as far as Nielsen is concerned, that will be a premiumized. And personalization, I want something which is personally crafted for myself. This is a behavior change which is happening in India. India is getting younger, the second pivot. What is the average age? 35 years, 25 years, 28, around 28 years now. A little older it's getting, but not very old. So 28, India will be contributing more than 50% of the population for professionals in the whole world going forward. As young as that country we are. As compared to Japan. What is Japan's age? Japan has entered into recession because of age of consumers today. Yeah? 55. How much is America? 38. China, 38. Is it following Japan? So economy to look forward to is India because the younger population is more confident, more open. Purchase behaviors for retail is different. I will come to that in a bit. But Gen Z, who was Gen Z born after 2000 odd? So they will be full nest, they will have families. So whatever they have grown with behaviors are going to get hardened as we go forward. Gen Alpha behavior is completely different. Gen Alpha and Gen Z contribution to around 45% of the total population, which is huge. You and me are not relevant today. Who is relevant is a class 14-year-old student who will grow and shape up consumption. Dabur has very recently set up a Gen Z Council. This Gen Z Council proposes what the Dabur's board has to do. Our board is 60 plus people who retire, but they are recommended things which a 14-year-old girl's shopping behavior of minimalist brand or other brands tell us. And we have to adopt what they say we have to do. That is how transformative India is getting going forward today. And if a company is not setting a Gen Z Council for every marketing mix to be going through them, then I think we'd be left back in the race. Very, very critical. So this leads us, younger population will embrace brands, will embrace retail environments, will embrace ecosystems which are talking about responsibility, which are talking about sustainability, which are talking about social improvement, which will talk about respectfulness, which will talk about transparency, which will talk about no nasty, do good for themselves and do good for the society, about wellness. And it will talk about green brands, it will talk about clean labels. That is the future for the country to come. Purposive brands, everything, they need to know who the owner is. Who is representing the company, who is the startup, who the owner is. And that's exactly what America is doing today. Most of the brands which are present in Target in America, Target is the most emerging and upcoming retailer there. They stock up all the new startups which come in the US. Most of the shelves in Target in America have a photograph of the proprietor or the owner or the promoter selling the product. Along with that, the history of the promoter. Where does he belong to? Why is he doing what he is doing? Is it genuine or is it marketing fluff? That is the future of this country, that consumers will embrace only those brands who believe in not marketing, who believe in transparency and trust and genuineness. And there is a reason why they are doing it, because they've got a lot of time, because mobility is going up in the country. They are aware of what's happening in the US, and those trends will leapfrog to India once again. India, again, not just India. India is two peculiar Indias, which is India is emulating what's happening in the West. So it's more Western aping is what's happening in India, which is metros, and we talk about these boom towns which are actually taking the economic growth up today. So 9 metros now, used to be 4 metros at a time around 2-3 decades back, and now there are 9 metros, and we're talking about huge 30 plus towns which are called the boom towns, which are going to drive the growth in the Indian ecosystem. And there is Bharat, where there are 50,000 plus villages which are shaping up the economic growth of rural Bharat today, and the consumption in rural is going to be 4.3x as compared to urban growth, which is going to be 3.5x. So Bharat becomes as important as urban, and some people talk about K-shaped recovery. I think it's all humbug here. Many times they've talked about K-shaped recovery. One angle is moving up and another angle is moving down. There is nothing going to move down. Bharat is going to flourish as much as urban is going to flourish. And urban is going to become, rural is going to become urban, and urban will become more and more richer, that I showed you in the pyramid. So rural shrinkage will happen because the economic power will move up in the country, and India will also become urban. That's what we call Viksit Bharat. In Viksit Bharat is a developed country where there will be no rural, but to say that rural has decline, which is what K-shape is, I think it's all humbug, and the entire industry is talking about that. We don't believe in that. So what is the mantra? The mantra is two-pronged growth in the country. One growth led by Bharat, other growth led by urban. Urban growth is led by premiumization and e-commerce and modern trade. Rural growth will be led by penetration increase, more unbranded to branded. How much of food? Food represents 60% of FMCG. And how much is food unbranded in the country? 80% is unbranded, 20% is branded. So Britannias and Nestle's and ITCs, and they are all going to boom going forward. It's getting reflected in the stock and the market cap also. Profit not there, but market cap, the market is giving them, because unbranded will move to branded. I'm just going to give you a corollary of new age businesses. There are two types of ecosystems in the US. One is Amazon ecosystem and one is a Walmart ecosystem. Walmart ecosystem is more a brick and mortar ecosystem, and Amazon is what? Online ecosystem. One is infinite growth. Who's infinite growth? Walmart or Amazon? Louder, there's no energy in the room, yeah? I will also dissipate in my energy levels only. Amazon is infinite growth. Who's finite growth? Brick and mortar is finite growth. How much is the turnover of Walmart? Approximately. Is doing sustainable business, and Amazon is doing not sustainable business. Amazon is going to thrive in perpetuity for life. They disrupt businesses. Amazon is playing a catch-up. Somebody is playing a winning business. He wants to win. Somebody is a disruptor who's going to change the rules of the game. Who is better? The guy who's winning the race to be ahead of the race, or a guy who's not racing at all, he's charting a different path? World has changed. Infinite businesses is Amazon business. Walmart is a catch-up play. Reliance is an infinite business or a catch-up play? Catch-up play. Would they have done had Amazon not come to India? No. Brick and mortar Reliance stores would have been there. But they're changing the rules of the game now. So it's changing at a very fast pace. Coming back, Bharat, India, two growth drivers, and therefore higher aspirations for rural and urban, demand for greater choices, transparency in prices. Nobody can cheat you today. Price becomes very important. Bargaining power of consumer is going to rule in online and in offline both. Technology innovations I already touched upon. One around 110 crore people having mobile connection, 77% of the population, 50% of the population having internet connection, and around 33% of the population having social media connectivity. This is going to go up. Social media is going to become 75 crores by 2025, another 1 year, 2 years' time. Around 9 out of 10 15-year-old employable will be online today. 1 billion consumers will have internet connection. 50% of the consumers will be coming from rural India. Consumers will use mobile phone as a first information for them. Path to purchase will change. AI, big data is becoming important. All data is now available on the servers. Big data will help in data sciences. Algorithms will come in. All the stalls outside are talking about that only. And AI will rule. All my emails today are written by AI. Had I not come here, I could have sent my AI avatar to deliver the same address, but not with that kind of an energy today. It's like that. In Dabur, I'm not able to go to every stockist. So many people. We got 5,000 stockists. It's an AI avatar who goes and talk, and it's customized now. It's customized to vernacular also. It's so big. It's helping us in a day-to-day business. Influencers are becoming very important, whether it's a nano influencer, a mini, or a micro, or a mega influencer. For us, Amitabh Bachchan is a mega influencer. We don't call him a celebrity anymore. He's a mega influencer. Karthik Aryan is a mega influencer, no more called a celebrity. Greater vernacular content and more transparency. I think the key is transparency. Is very big. So technology is changing the way we are doing business. And this is what I summarized. India is changing, becoming richer, younger, India, Bharat, tech. This has implications to changing retail landscape. I'll talk about retail landscape now. Future of retail in the country. There is emergence of new age channels coming in the country. New age channels will mean, this is very important, which I told you, leapfrog, modern trade. Where is modern trade taking business from? Kiryana store, a near pop and mom store. Source of business, which is 80-90% of India was pop and mom shops. He's taking business from the pop and mom stores. Wherever Reliance or a D-Mart opens up, the ecosystem in the nearby neighborhood of around 6 kilometers, please ask the retailer who's next to a Walmart store. Either he's there or tomorrow he may not be there. He'll have to relocate. That's the fact of the matter. Amazing. Quick commerce. All TT stores around the vicinity with quick commerce, which is becoming 30% and growing at 200% on e-commerce, is going to wipe out the nearby TT, which is 500 meters from home, which is traditional trade. O2O, catch-up play, offline to online, online to online. Nykaa is both offline and online. Today, it's all, and e-commerce is growing at a pace that we can't even imagine. So, but everybody has got a different mantra and a different mix. Look at the profile of consumers. Gen X and millennials will shop on a modern trade. Old ho gaye, purane ho gaye. Gen Alpha nahi khareed raha ab zyada. Millennials, centennials are the ones who are going to the quick commerce, and everybody will become quick. Quick commerce is not a different technology, it is similar technology, and this technology will become par for the course in the industry, and it will become secular with everybody. It will become so democratic that everybody will switch to a quick commerce, even Amazon will switch to a quick commerce. It will be so fast moving here. So O2O, obviously, this is the way the behavior will be. Assortment changes and planned and basket purchases. And e-commerce, of course, we know subscribe and save. I'll not talk too much in detail. So first I'll talk about digital first brands. Because of the retail is evolving at the pace that we talked about, this is leading to implication on our business also, which is FMCG. Different portfolio of products will get created for this evolving ecosystem which is there, which is premiumization, which I talked about. This retail change is leading to digital first brands, which is, we've had Shilajit capsules we used to sell. Now what sells for us is Shilajit raisins, and it's the fastest seller on digital first now. A2 ghee, what we see is a cow ghee or a buffalo ghee. What sells on e-commerce, A2 ghee. A2 ghee is 6 times the price of what you can imagine. They have got the disposable income and they purchase. Atomberg, people have heard about Atomberg? Luxury fans. This is an online phenomena for us today. Then personalization, which is what I talked about, consumer behavior changing. The changing retail landscape is leading to or adopting that consumer change, which is happening for personalization. Look at Lenskart, look at the Pand project, look at the Ravel, customized skincare products, amazing. They evaluate the skin and then they give you customized, whether it's a dry skin, oily skin, pimple skin, aging skin, customized products given for that. It's going to an extent that they'll send their own doctor to your home and he will give you a filler and an injection at home also. It's evolving at that pace in this country. Path through purchase is changing. What was the old path to purchase? Old path to purchase, advertise कर दिया, Star Plus में, Z में, Sony में, consumer ने देखा, the brand falls in the consideration set, he will go to the Kirana store, he will buy the brand, and that was the simple path to purchase for us. What is the path to purchase now? Oh, mobile is the path to purchase. First stage, I'll talk in the previous chart only, this was a discovery stage. मोबाइल पे डिस्कवरी है, प्रॉब्लम क्या है, डिस्कवर करते हैं, एक्सप्लोर करते रहते हैं ऑन द मोबाइल. And after that, this is the discover and understand phase, so we call it. And then there is a stage of compare. You compare the prices, you compare the quality, you compare the label, you compare the front panel label. This has got paraben, this has got no chemical, this has got chemical. Is my toothpaste containing sulfates? Is it containing not? This hair oil has got this thing. All that is getting compared. And then, who are the experts? Our influencers are the experts. We go to the influencer. Each one of us has got 7 to 8 average influencers today. Whoever have got a mobile phone connectivity, influencer is a go-to person for us. We go there and then we make the brand into a consideration set and then we finally make the purchase. And then there's a post-purchase dissonance handling also through the influencers which happen. And if the product is not great, influencer will ridicule you to mass media. And they will spread and the brands will have a demise because of that. So much responsibility has to be there in the way we are doing business today. Social media again becomes very, very important. So most of our 30% of our spends today are on digital media or social media. This becomes important. Influencers have become important. I was telling you 7.5% of the users have. Traditional trade. This is the implication of what will happen to 70% of the business which is still happening through traditional trade. They will have to re-gear, they will have to recalibrate, all that. And that's very important for a person who's owning the Kiryana. Otherwise, the margins will become thinner and thinner, which will lead to a faster contraction of the traditional trade, which is bound to happen. But as the companies will reduce their margins, it will put even more pressure onto them. So what will happen is reconfiguration of pop and mom stores to what? Self-service. The layout is changing. Layout is changing that there has to be a moment of truth between the product and the customer walking in. He has to see the product, he has to feel the product, he has to open the product, he has to smell the product. It cannot be that the retailer is sitting in between the consumer and the shelf. That day has gone. So they will have to reconfigure to self-service. By the way, what we call SAMT, standalone modern trades, are really growing up in the country. So that layout is changing. Adoption of 360-degree technology. Because there is a quick commerce platform on which there are 100 products available. If I go to a next retail, the product assortment is very limited. Incumbent and imperative on the pop and mom store to carry that assortment, but does he have a space to carry? Does he have investment to carry? Does he have inventory? Does he have warehouse? Answer is no. So what he has to do? Carry more technology will come handy even for that retailer. He has to get into POS software. Billing software has to be there. What inventory he has to carry, that has to change. Again, technology will come in. Every retailer has to become relevant. Somebody was talking about ONDC. ONDC is a marketplace that the government is creating. Very tough today. I don't think it's going to flourish, but new models will come in to being, which will be much more easier to go on to. Today, you have to go to a Paytm, and then you have to go to a ONDC, and then do shopping among multiple vendors. But this will fetch valuations eventually. Coming back to my example of Walmart and Amazon, Amazon's market cap is far higher than Walmart's market cap, although their turnover is lower. Why? They have got 6 million suppliers on Amazon's platform. How many suppliers does Walmart.com have on theirs? 4 lakh, 5 lakh, as compared to 6 million. Market gives the price to Amazon because of 6 million suppliers on their platform. This is the future valuation and a present value of future, which the market is capturing and giving them that valuation to them. So will be the case with ONDC. So retailers will have to gear up to be on ONDC, become more technology savvy. Enhance in-store experience like MT. Touch and feel and videos and advertising, etc., etc. Very gimmicky you have to become if you have to survive in pop and mom stores. But it's not say it's all out and gloom for pop and mom stores, because experience is very important. Like Apple is available, you buy Apple online, but there are experience stores where you want to experience. So this will become more an experience center for us to touch and feel product, but the purchase may eventually happen online. Increased relevant assortments. And channel financing becomes very important because you have to stock more products, you require more money. So therefore, SBI and channel financing become so important again. And personalization and twin delivery, turbo deliveries. A quick commerce gives me stock in with a dark store present within 500 meters of my house. He will pick it up and supply it to me in 1 hour's time. They will have to have delivery men who will do the delivery at the same time. Turbo deliveries will have to happen. Rural brands. Again, incumbent for all the companies to reach rural at a much faster pace, increase the assortment in rural. Buy now, pay later. We know a lot of these startups have now come which are actually facilitating credit availability in buy now, and channel financing again, simple, post-me, lazy pay. You are all aware of what's happening today. So that's, I think, pretty much from my side. And I want to open it out to a little bit of questions in case you guys have got. Otherwise, they'll ring alarms here. So for me, so this was consumer is changing, implication of trade and on the retail, and that's how retail is evolving. We're talking about emergence of new channels. I talked about O2O. I talked about e-commerce, digital first brands, path to purchase, social media becoming very important, and traditional trade will have to reconfigure themselves if they have to survive in the next one. Thank you so much.